Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is episode 92 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration, and in this episode we will be actually focusing a little bit more on our REM Kerbin, who is supposed to be going to Pole. So, in the previous episode, while we were waiting for this transfer, we were actually assembling the Duna IP interplanetary ship colonizer, and we will probably finish that in the next episode. However, in this episode our main focus will be on Pole operations, and actually, we have gotten REM all the way to the Julian system, but he has not actually landed on a single planet, and I find that not acceptable. So, he has 3,117 delta V in his tank, which I think should be okay. And I did some calculations in terms of how much it would take me back, and I think the burn should be around, 1,700 or something. So we do have a little bit of leeway when it comes to burning to get him back. Okay, well, that being said, we have some things to think about, and this is like I know fixing the orbital transfer, or not the orbital transfer, fixing the encounter with Pole, so just to make sure that we get as good encounter as we possibly can. Okay, so that being said, let's see if we can really get a nice, decent encounter here. And okay, we have to now stop into the orbit, and that's 670 meters per second, which is quite substantial, but the fortunate thing of it is that Pole has a pretty low gravity, so that I'm hoping that we won't expend too much delta V on the landing. So, I'm doing some science, EVA, material study, and all that jazz, and I'm hoping to be able to actually reach Pole and hopefully land on Pole. Because that would be really nice. So, doing a little bit of time warp, screenshot, obviously, and hi Pole. We are coming for you. Delete on close, and let's see. Okay, getting ready for the burn. Burn will be 2 minutes and 7 seconds, and I'm going down to 1 minute to start the burn. Kicking the gas, and REM, you are officially stopping or performing an orbital insertion in the orbit around Pole. And we are low above Pole, which means our science alert is going wild. So once again, playing whack-a-mole with my science alert and trying to make sure that I get all the experiments before we actually start going landing. So EVA report, gravity scan, material study, please. Keep the data. Orbital telescope. That one is a little bit bugged out. Okay, who cares? Okay, and I think these three I cannot continue executing because probably something bugged out. So, okay. That being said, sorry for a little bit twitchy. This is like 3 times acceleration, simply so I can cover more ground. And here, as you can see, I'm planning for the landing. And as you can see, the stopping maneuver in total is like not a whole lot. So, okay, just trying to get information on the Pole's gravity. Midlands. EVA report, lowlands. Yeah, we have some more experiments to perform. Great. So I guess the decision I was facing here when I was passing the poll was to poll or not to poll, and that's the name of the episode here, I guess. So the idea was to see, if we have enough delta V to go to poll. So I'm now just trying to flip myself orbit retrograde, kick the gas, and hopefully stop our horizontal speed, which is something like this, and hopefully go for a nice safe landing. REM, what do you think, buddy? Are you ready to be the first Kerbal to set foot on another planet in the Julian system? I mean, we have landed like lathe impactors, but I don't think that counts. It's setting the foot that actually matters, leaving a footprint. Hoping that it isn't a rocky terrain either, so yeah. Okay, slope is 3.5 or 4.5, 6.7, 6.8. Okay, I mean, I don't mind that slope level. I mean, 5% is decent, and we are already seeing some terrain scatter. REM, yeah, I can see you're enjoying yourself, buddy. No worries. Slowing our descent. Fortunately enough, we don't need a lot of thrust to do so. Okay, yes. I'm also decelerating, if you're noticing, using the RCS. Just because I want to save as much delta V as I can, and I won't be docking anywhere, so I can live without RCS even. And touchdown. Beautiful. Okay, time to extend the ladder and let us do all the science experiments that we can. I'm hoping from the REM's mission, given the fact that we have visited quite a bit of like planetary bodies, then flybys and stuff, I'm actually hoping for a nice big juicy chunk of science that should hopefully help me advance my space program even further and going into more advanced engines and stuff. I have just unlocked recently carbonite, but I'm still struggling to understand how it works, so yes, I mean, the ultimate goal would be like for the future propulsion engines, like, I don't know, plasmas or magnetoplasmoid dynamic engines, and maybe Alcubierre drives and kind of these dark drive aerospikes, whatever. So yes, this is kind of like the goal that we would be doing soon anyway. Okay, done most of the measurements, EVA reports, so pack up your stuff and go, buddy, will you? We don't want you lingering too long because your transfer window from Jool to Kerbin is in 141 days, but then again we never know which side and which part of the orbit you're leaving from, so might as well make sure that we tuck in all the experiments safely and then just take off and go. We're ready? Open the panels, 3, 2, 1, go! Extending our apoapsis, and we are already at 14,000 meters, so perfect. A tank of oxidizer. Ooh, crap. Okay, that I have to fix right away, because if I don't, I am losing on the precious delta V that I don't have, and my margin here already is extremely tight when it comes from both escaping pole and also going back to Kerbin. So yeah, I have to be a little bit careful when it comes to this. It's really tight budget. Okay, 4 meters per second to go. I think this orbit is good enough, and now it's just a matter of defining a good Jool to Kerbin transfer window. No insertion burn plotted. I'm trying to see how low can I go. 1796 meters per second burn. I think it's good. So I'm adding a couple just to make sure that I have multiple transfer windows ready, because I mean, we are also now on our own supplies, and the journey back is long, so I want to make sure that REM T over here doesn't run out of snacks and die. So my idea is to burn somewhere around these points. Just trying to see how much it would take me to the orbit, and then from here, this would be in 12 days. At this point, so in 12 days, I want to be actually living. So let's do some research. We do have some chunk of science, 834, because we were building the engine. So I'm building the carbonite, like refineries, and the carbonite extractors that will be coming next. Okay, VAB, we have the SSTO part to roll out. So that's kind of the idea anyway. And we want to be rolling it out so it is on the launch pad ready to launch at our command. And that's the case. So now with that one on the launch pad, which is good, we're not going to launch just yet, but immediately following our transfer window, and when we get out of the Jool's sphere of influence, we will be ready to launch the SSTOs to the interplanetary ship. So here you can see me accelerating the time until we get those 12 days, because when I'm burning away from Jool, I want to both burn towards Kerbin, and I also want to be burning out of the pole sphere of influence, so those two are aligned. So I have picked up roughly this spot, and I guess no harm, no foul, nothing major. So just making sure that my burn is in the right spot, and I don't want to make it a big burn. The less delta V, the better. So I said like 303 transfer. So I'm gonna put 300,000 kilometers by 300,000 kilometers, and the final orbit around Kerbin would be no insertion burn. So once again, I'm checking the trade-off, seeing how much time do I have with food, and I'm adding alarm clock alarm. So the idea is we go once again to the apoapsis, we inflate the apoapsis to move away from pole and all other planetary bodies, and on the next pass on this similar location we will be doing the burn. Well, that's the plan anyway. Okay. So 86 meters per second, the burn is scheduled in 2 minutes. Closing down all the experiments because they like to stand open for reasons completely unknown to me. Okay, checking, the burn is going to be 25 seconds, so we can time accelerate a little bit. And hitting it. And the shift of camera indicated that we are on the outwards trajectory, doing the gravity scan, a little bit more gravity scan, and leaving pole for good. 6, 5, 3, 2, and bam. So here I'm planning to do a circularization at this apoapsis, which is a little bit hefty. It's 174, so my margin actually for the transfer is very low, but if I circularize at that angle, guys, I mean, it should be a lot less delta V to actually go out, because we are already at the higher altitude so I'm actually have decided to just go towards it, and hopefully in 28 days I would then be able to burn retrograde, I guess. Our Duna window is still in 131 days, and we have only one member of the crew, which I believe is Varuk, and he is keeping the ship safe in the orbit until we send SSTOs, and SSTOs will contain crew. So once I launch SSTOs, it shouldn't be too far from the Duna window, otherwise our Kerbals are eating the food in orbit around Kerbin, saying, hey guys, we're just having the snacks here, come over, you know. So, and that's not a good solution where we want to be, so I'm now just trying to see what would be my estimated delta V, 1731. So like I said, 1731 and an additional 200, that's roughly 19, so I don't think I will have a whole lot of delta V to spare, actually, guys, when we get out of this endeavor. So, but yeah. Okay. So, once again, checking the interplanetary launcher. It is here. I may have even, replicated this, I'm not sure. But I was thinking that I would be launching this one at this very moment. But turns out that I won't. I was thinking because I still have a long time to Duna, and that's why I have decided rather I'm gonna go with REM, and I'm still gonna finish his unfinished business first. Ideally, I want to launch the Duna SSTO launcher at some point where like 40 days before the transfer, so that we get to a decent sort of. Sun tracking servo on the solar panel. Okay, yeah, we'll fix you because why not? Take spares. REM is also leveling up on his experience in terms of fixing things, so come on. You might want to hold on to something. Okay, servo has been repaired. I don't want to clean the servo. I'm hoping if it fails next time we would be already closer to Kerbin, and the importance of our solar tracking panels won't be as high as it is today, because everything we are doing here, if you remember, we are always pointing our craft directly at the sunlight because electric charge is an issue. But REM is a hero of the day, he has already learned how to live with it. So now, as you can see, I'm actually burning way ahead of schedule, and I'm burning with my RCS thrusters because I want to save as much delta V or the actual fuel as I possibly can, because I mean previously, if you watched my series, I think I came from Minmus, I think around episode 15 or something, on fumes, and I have a gut feeling that says that here I will be also returning on fumes, so I might be even sending an interceptor craft to actually catch REM and go back, but we'll see. I'm also dumping all the waste that I can, just to make sure to get rid of all the poop and the wastewater and the carbon dioxide that we can, so that we have as much delta V as we can to burn. Just trying to be lean on the mass, so to say. Once again, turning into the sunlight and getting ready for our ejection burn, and it's gonna be in either 21 days or 43. I'm aiming for the 40 days transfer window, so yes, I'm inputting the delta V required, and I'll also need to fiddle a little bit to see how do I get the Kerbin encounter. I'm just putting in as it's supposed to be, and now let's see where it leads us. Okay. Oh, and it's actually quite close to Kerbin, but now I have to figure out how to make this to align. Okay, here. Doing a little bit the rendezvous dance. Come on. Too soon. Oh, and this is a very close one. So how do I improve it? And here we go. We have a nice Kerbin encounter, and it's 1745 and we have 1892. So I'm overall very happy with this ejection burn maneuver, which I am gonna perform. There should be no margin for error. The burn is 4 minutes 38 seconds. And I'm thinking, guys, after I do this burn, I think I'm gonna call it an episode. So, because, I mean, until we get out of the Jool sphere of influence, it will take a lot of time, and we're already around the 20-ish minute mark, so I'm thinking maybe it would be a good place to cut it, because the next episode will be all about Duna IP launcher. And we are already at Kerbin to Duna 59 days, which is the window where I actually want to launch the last segment of the Duna launcher to be able to prepare for the burn. So, burning, chewing through our Delta V. We do have some monopropellant, and it has shown very useful in terms of finer alignments when it comes to the interplanetary transfers. So we want to be as accurate as possible here, guys, because we are running on fumes. I can tell you that much. So, yeah. And we have to be particularly sensitive to monoprobe and liquid fuel and oxidizer tanks leaking. Oh, and here we have an encounter, 2.2 meters per second. So let's just slowly try to find a way how to actually best burn it. And I'm doing this with RCS. I'm trying to secure as close encounter as possible, trying the various thruster directions just to make sure that I can make it as tight and as sweet as possible. We have a total of 150 more Delta V meters per second if we need to fix, and I think 20 kilometers orbit. That's awesome. Well, that's it. Thank you very guys for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.